heart went.
Okay, so instead of reading to you the pivotal element method solution discussed in the PowerPoint presentation, let me show it to you by hand. The solution on how you're going to do the pivotal method. So, ang sabi doon sa PowerPoint natin, you have to choose one element that will be considered as your pivotal element. So, this pivotal element, ang requirement po niya is that the pivotal element must be equivalent to 1. So, kailangan dun sa determinant na given sa atin, hanapin mo yung element na 1. So, in this given, you have 3 options. But the PowerPoint shows a to 1 element as the pivotal. Pero pwede nyo piliin ito or ito, maalin. Ngayon, if ever given a matrix or determinant that doesn't contain 1, halimbawa walang 1 dito, ano? Pwede kang pumili ng kahit anong element. You can use that as a pivotal element, but gagawin mo ng paraan na maging 1 siya. So, for example, pinili mo si 2 dito as a pivotal element. To make this 1, you have to divide it by 2. Ibig sabihin, kailangan natin mag-factor out ng 2. So, pumili ka lang kung saan mo i-factor out si 2. It's either you factor 2 from the column where it is placed or the row where it is placed. So, kung pinili mong i-factor out si 2 on the first column, ito yung magiging 2. You'll factor out 2, then this will be 1, etc., etc. 3 halves. Diba? Okay, so, pwede rin namang sa first row mo siya i-factor out. You'll have 2 outside the determinant, and then this will become 1, 7, 3 halves, and 1 half just in case. Okay, so that's how you choose a pivotal element on a determinant that doesn't contain the unity element 1. But since the example given to us has an element 1, we are going to use this as our pivotal element. So, kapag sinabing pivot, di ba yun yung axis of rotation? So, dun iikot yung solution natin. Now, what are we going to do? Upon choosing your pivotal element, you have to cross out the row where it is included and the column where it is included. Thus, from a 4x4 determinant, magiging 3x3 na lang siya. Ibig sabihin, may matitira sa ating itong tatlong rows na to. Correct? But, when we're solving, we are going to make use of the columns and the rows that were omitted from our solution. So, instead of completely deleting them from your determinants, you can use a highlighter. You highlight the rows and the row and the column that was omitted. You can use strips of paper to cover that part. Pero para sa akin, mas madali yung highlighter. Or colored pen. You can encircle them or box them. Just so you know alin yung magiging pivotal row or pivotal column natin. So, we are going to omit this row, the second row, and the first column. And the solution for the pivotal would be, there will always be negative 1 raised to the sum of the position of the pivotal element. So, our pivotal element is at A to 1. Therefore, this would be negative 1 raised to 2 plus 1. Okay, multiplied by, you're going to multiply this by the determinant, by the n-1 determinant we've come up with, kasi kinross out na natin to. Sulat natin. So, we have 14, and then negative 2, and then negative 4, negative 2, and then negative 4, and then leave a space because may ilalagay tayo ditong solution. And then you have 3, 2, and negative 3. Then on the third column, we'll have 1, negative 3, and negative 4. Okay. After that, you're going to subtract from each remaining entry. Magbabawas tayo dito ng product. So, we're going to subtract all of this by a product. Anong product yon? Product ng elements in the pivotal rows and columns that meet the remaining entry or that intersects the remaining entry. So, if our entry is 14, kukuhanin mo yung katapat niya dun sa pivotal row dun sa pivotal row at sa pivotal column. So, yung katapat niya by column and by row. That would be 2 and 5. So, subtract 2 and 5 from that. And then you'll notice, all of the elements in the second column will be subtracted by a product of 5 and another constant. So, ito yon. For negative 2, you're going to subtract it with 1 times 5. So, 1 times 5. And then for negative 4, you'll subtract that with 3 times 5. So, mapapansin nyo anong constant. Ito, di ba? Same column element. Same element in the same column. Tapos yung rows lang natin nagkaroon ng change. Okay, next. For 3, we're going to subtract that by negative 1 and 2. Or 2 times negative 1. And then for 2, that would be 1 times negative 1. 1 times negative 1. 1 times negative 1. And for negative 3, that would be 3 times negative 1. So, papansin mo, on the second column naman, pare-pares yan multiplied by negative 1. Tapos, if you're going to notice row, with respect to rows, pare-pares naman itong 2. Okay, so for the third column elements naman, or remaining entry, so for 1, we're going to subtract that with 2 times 3. For negative 3, we're going to multiply that with 1 times 3. And then for negative 4, we'll multiply that by 3 and 3. Okay, so para hindi kayo malito, pansinin nyo yung pattern na meron, di ba? Same row, same column. Okay, then we'll operate this and simplify it so that it is a 3 by 3. So, negative 1 raised to 3 is negative 1. So, we'll have a negative sign here multiplied by the remaining 3 by 3 determinant. So, that's 14 minus 10. That's 4. Negative 2 minus 5. That's negative 7. Negative 4 minus 15. That's negative 19. 3 plus 2. That's 5. 2 plus 1. We have 3. Negative 3 plus 3. So, we have 0. 1 minus 6. So, we have negative 5. Negative 3 minus 3. So, we have negative 6. Negative 4 minus 9. We have negative 13. So, for ease of your solution, if you've come up with the 3 by 3 determinant, you can apply basket weave method na. If you want, you can use cofactor solution. But, for the continuity of the discussion, for pivotal, let me use pivotal again for this 3 by 3 determinant. And in this case, this is a very good example wherein wala tayong unity element 1. Tama ba? So, if I may choose, I'd like to use negative 5. Okay, so let me choose negative 5 and make it my pivotal element in the first row. So, bakit first row? Because I noticed there's another element 5 here. So, that would make this 1 kapag dinivide ko na, diba? So, I'm going to divide all these elements by negative 5. Ibig sabihin, I'll be factoring out negative 5. I'll have negative sign here times, I'll factor negative 5 in the first row, multiplied by, so that would be 4 divide negative 5, that's negative 4 over 5. 5 divide negative 5, I'll get negative 1. And then the negative 5 divide negative 5, we have positive 1. And then the remaining rows will be as is. Yun pa din sila. And again, my pivotal element is in the first row, third column. So we are going to cross out the first row and the third column. The result would be, you have positive 5 na, multiplied by, do not forget the negative 1 sign, raised to the position of your pivotal element. So, ito yung common na nakakalimutan ng mga students when they're doing their exams or activities. So, our pivotal element is in the first row, third column. So that would be 1 plus 3. That would make this positive. Multiplied by, we'll have a 2 by 2 determinant. So we'll have negative 7, negative 19. Second column would be 3 and 0. We're going to subtract all of these terms by elements intersecting these remaining elements. Okay? So, start with negative 7. That would be negative 7 minus row by column. Para hindi kayo malito. So, negative 6 times negative 4 over 5. Let me move this ng konti. Have space. Okay. Next, negative 19 minus. So, negative 19 minus negative 13 times, same column, negative 4 over 5. Next, 3 subtracted by negative 6 times negative 1, and then 0 minus negative 13 times negative 1. And then you'll simplify your 2 by 2 determinant. So this will be equivalent to 5 times positive 1, so that's still positive 5, multiplied by a 2 by 2. So, let's use our calculator na to reduce errors. We have negative 7 minus negative 6 times negative 4 over 5. And that is negative 59 over 5. Negative 59 over 5. And then we have negative 19 minus negative 13 times negative 4 over 5. That would be negative 147 over 5. For the second columns, we have 3 minus 6. So we have negative 3. And then 0 minus positive 13. So we get negative 13. After this, alam ko na mag-pivotal pa tayo, diba? Let's use Leibniz formula for this. So 5 times negative 59 over 5 times negative 13 minus negative 147 over 5 times negative 3. So, yung downward and upward diagonals natin, let's type that in our calculator. Get negative 59 over 5 times negative 13 minus negative 147 over 5. Now, let's use our calculator to get this answer. So, you have negative 59 over 5 times negative 13 minus negative 147 over 5 times negative 3. Our answer multiplied by 5, we get our determinant, which is equivalent to 326. And this is similar to the answer in our PowerPoint presentation. And that's how you do your pivotal element method.